Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome and pay my gratitude to Dr. Ujala Zubair, who spared us some time of her busy schedule and come forward to help us and help you guys. Let me give you a short intro of Dr. Ujala Zubair. She graduated from Sindh Medical College, Karachi. She will be starting her residency at Beaumont Hospital, Michigan, and combined internal medicine and pediatrics this July. I now hand over to Dania Said.
Assalamualaikum, ma'am. How are you?
Ma'am, can you please turn on your mic?
Sorry, Walaikum Assalam. You guys can call me Ujala.
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
ma'am. Okay,
Ma'am, how
okay.
are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Ma'am, we are also
You
good.
just
Call me Ujala.
Okay, ma'am.
okay. It would be hard for us, but we will try. Okay, so we will come across the question that we received in these couple of days. The first and the basic question is that what basically is USMLE?
So USMLE stands for United States Medical License Exam. So whoever wants to pursue their residency in the states, they have to give this exam. It is comprised of three parts. There's step one, step two, and then a step three. Step one and two are compulsory if you want to get into residency. And in step three, you can give it before or after you start your residency.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
Daniel.
The next question is why do you feel to go through the USMLE process and how
Like,
it is going to
what
take?
is the us that we say that we don't want to work here and we should go for
Yes.
USMLE?
So it's a personal decision. Like, some people prefer to work here. My sister, she's working in Pakistan, but I wanted to work here. So it's just a personal preference. If you feel like you have to go there, work over here, then you have to give this exam, fulfill all the other requirements, and then you can work here.
Okay, ma'am. So now we just wanted to hear your complete story. Like, when was the first time you heard about USMLE and why did you just chose for it and how you started preparing for it? Like, your story from your side. How did you start preparing for it and when was the first time you heard of USMLE?
So I graduated from Sindh Medical College. Then I did my house job in Jinnah, JPMC, Jinnah Postgraduate Medical Center. So after completing my house job, I thought of, okay, I'm gonna go this way. I started preparing for the exam. It took me a year to do step one. Then after my house job, I took a year off. I was working part time. Then I gave step one. After that, I gave step two. Then I came here. I did some rotations and. After some rotations, I applied for the match, and I got matched in my first cycle. So it sounds pretty simple, but it was not. There were a lot of hurdles, like preparing for step one was difficult, preparing for step two was difficult. Then COVID hit, and it was not very easy to find rotations. But somehow I found some rotations, and then I did them. Then I applied for the match, completed my application. So it was like. So meanwhile, I was studying for step one. I was also working at a hospital. So I had my options open, and if I couldn't do USMLE, I would pursue my residency in Pakistan.
Ma'am, what is the best time for start preparation of USMLE exam in your opinion?
I
Like
think
in first year or fourth year?
Yeah, I think as soon as you start, as soon as possible, if you start, that's the best time. Like people do start preparing it from third year, fourth year, so whatever suits your schedule. Some people are able to manage studying for step one and step two during their medical school along with their medical school exam, but some people are not able to. I was not able to study during my med school, so I prepared after completing my house job. But if you are able to prepare it during your medical school, then definitely go for it.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Now coming toward the step one examination,
Mhm.
is there a lot of stuff on the internet, and everyone is recommending different things? And if someone said that if you grab the right stuff, then it will be so easy for you. So, like, we want to ask you, which stuff do you used for the your exam?
Okay, so I gave my step one in 2018. Yeah, it was 2018. Sorry, I started preparing in 2018. I gave it in 2019. So it was like 3 4 years back. But my time, I used board and beyond videos. I used first aid. I used uword. I used pathoma, and biostats review. There's a file for biostats review by uword. So these were the resources I used. I believe that if you keep your resources limited and just stick to them and make sure you completely cover them, that's the best approach. Instead of
And
using a lot of resources, try to limit your resources and just focus on them.
one more thing, that Pathoma and BNB is they are also available in paid version. So I would like to ask you that you use the paid version, or they are also available on the torrents or these things.
Yeah, so I use the unpaid version. Like if I was preparing in 2019, I had the videos from 2016. They were available in DVDs, very easily available in Pakistan. So I used those videos. I used the unpaid version, and for Pathoma as well, I used the unpaid version, and I bought the book, and the videos were available in a DVD which came along with the book. So I used them.
Ma'am, we've heard a lot about Anki's. How much, in your opinion, how much this is important for USMLE preparation?
Yeah, I didn't use Yankees because I didn't had the time, and I always wanted to keep my resources limited. So I didn't had a chance to use Enki. So I don't think I can comment on that because even during my step two, I didn't use Enki.
Okay, ma'am.
And many students told us that the BD Chorasia, the Guyton and Hall, and all these things, they are not going to help us in that step examination and all. And some of seniors are recommending us that you should, start studying Kaplan in your first year and second year. They will also help you in your prof examination and will also prepare you for the step one. So, what can you say about it?
So BD Chirasi, it's a very initial book. Like it's the first book you buy when you enter your med school. So it does help you with your prof exams. It does help with the medical school exams. But yes, the USMLE exam, they have a different format. So the Kaplan will help you for both. But you cannot. I don't think you'll be able to clear the prof exam without BD Charasia because you have to study that book for your prof exam. The exam comes from that book. So you have to do both. You have to do Kaplan as well as you have to do BD Charasi. You have to do both for your prof exams.
Okay.
Ma'am, is it true that step one expires after 2 years and there's only 2 years gap between step one and step two?
No, I don't think this is true. Step one and step two, all the USMA exam they expire, I think, after 7 years, what I've heard. But 2 years, I don't think they expire in 2 years.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. And ma'am, is it compulsory to give uh, is it compulsory to use the online exam like UWorld or these things? Are books and Anki are just enough for it?
Yeah, I think it's very important to use UWorld. UWorld is the main resource for your USMLE exams, so you have to use UWorld, and it's preferable to get the online subscription for UWorld because it gets updated, and UWorld is very important for your exams. The exam comes from UWorld. It's same pattern.
Ma'am, now I would like to ask you about expenses, that how much
Step
expenses
one
USMLE comes in
expenses.
step one.
Yeah, so at my time, I think it was the fees increases every year. I think at my time it was around $900. It was around $900. Yes, but I think it must have increased by now. It must have increased. I don't have I haven't checked the recent price, but it's around 1,000 by now. I think so.
So, like, we would ask you about the overall expense of the step one, like all the thing which you prepare from their expenses and the test expenses. If you can give us just a little
So
amount.
I never counted this because I know it's gonna be a lot, and I never counted them because I know that it's gonna give me a heart attack. But like it goes step by step. Like first you buy the U word, it's like $300-400, and then after 6 months you get the after 6 or 7 months or whenever you're ready, then you pay for the exam fees. So all the expenses come one by one. So if you will take like an overall thing, it will be a very big number. So just do things one by one. First, prepare yourself to buy U word. Then move to the next step, give your exam fees. Then move to the next step, give your step two fees. And then step by step, just take one thing at a time. And I don't know about the overall expense, but I think it would be around 1800 to 2000, because there's like a registration fee, then there's exam fee, then there's UWorld fee. But all of these are given in parts, like like first you give the registration fee, then you buy UWorld, then you give step one, so it's step by step. So just take one thing at a time, focus on that, and then you can move ahead. If you think that you cannot afford it because the cost is so much, so just all those students who think they cannot afford it because the cost is so much, so I want to advise them that take things one at a time. You don't have to pay 2000 upfront. First you have to pay 200 registration, then you buy the UWorld, then you buy the step one, you pay the exam fee, so it's one by one.
Right.
Okay. And ma'am, what happens like if we fail the step one, like for two times or three times? We want to just know the limit of the step one exam.
So
Kitni baar hum de-
I have no idea about this. I think you can give like two or three times, but if you fail once, you can give it one more time. But usually, if you prepare well, you don't fail. If you prepare
Okay.
well, you can pass.
And one more thing, now they have changed the system. They have got to pass or fail. So is this better for us, or that old system of marks was better for us?
I think the marks was better, because the marks distinguish us from other applicants. But because they have turned it to pass and fail, then we have other factors which can help us get matched, like the step 2 CK score, clinical experience in the US, research. These things can help us build our CV and overcome the pass and fail of the scores.
Okay.
Ma'am, luckily, if we have got through USMLE Part 1 exam, no, now what is the best time for preparation for USMLE Part 2 exam?
Yeah, just whenever, just after you receive your results, you can start preparing for step 2. There is no need of waiting. Right after you receive your results, you can start preparing.
And what is the best time to give the USmle step one exam? Like in third year, or when you have done with your third year and you start your fourth year. Like
Yeah,
first we
so,
will talk about if you are in a medical college,
mhm.
then which is the best year to give USmle step one exam?
So I think the earlier the better. The earlier the better. Like if you think you can give it in third year, give it in third year. If you think you can give it in fourth year or final year, give it in final year. So the earlier the better.
Okay. And what sources do you use for your step two exam?
So for step 2, I only used UWorld. There's no book for step 2, so I only used UWorld and UWorld Biostats. The same one which is for step 1, the same I used for step 2.
Ma'am, what are the expenses for USMLE Part 2 exams?
So the expenses are same, UWorld and the exam fees. And exam fees, I think at my time it was $1,000, but I don't know. Like this time, it has maybe increased. Because the fee increases every year. I think 10% or something. The fee increases every year, so it must have increased by now. It would be around 1100 something, or 1000, 1100.
Okay, ma'am. So luckily we have got through step two. So what is the next step for us? Like,
So the next step is you have to apply for the match. You have to do some clinical experience in the US. And if you're unable to do a clinical experience because of the COVID, there are many tele rotations available. You can have the experience online. And after you have some experience, then you can apply for the match. The applications start, you can start filling out the application in April. The applications open, or June. You can start filling them out, and in September the applications are closed. You have to apply in September, so you can apply in September.
okay. When it come across to some people, they say that research project are better, and some say that electives are better. So, like, if we talk about a person like who cannot afford for electives or to go through US, so like, is it possible for him to do just research and get math?
Yes, because of COVID, many students were not able to travel. There were travel restrictions, so they only applied with some didn't even have research. So they only applied with their scores and everything, and they were able to get matched. So if you're unable to do electives, of course you can apply with research or without research, and you can get matched.
But
Ma'am,
like elective will give us
Oh,
like a little bit.
So electives and research, they both have their own importance, but if you ask me to choose one, I will definitely choose the US clinical experience, which is electives. So but you can apply with or without both, and both of them are helpful. You can have both of them in your CV, but if you have to choose one, then I would go for electives.
Can you tell us about the expense of electives?
So I have not done any electives. Electives are like when you do clinical experience during your graduation. So I did all of my experience after my graduation. They were called observerships. They are not called electives. So observerships can be paid or unpaid. So the paid ones are which in which you have to pay to the doctors. But some doctors do offer externships or rotations to students without any cost. So you have to approach them, you have to email doctors, you have to email many doctors, 200, 300 doctors, and then you will come across some doctors who are able to take students without any fee. So I was able to find doctors who took me for free, who didn't cost me anything. So that's how I didn't have to spend on elective on observerships.
And these are like for 3 months, right? 6 months.
Yeah, you can do it for any time. You can do it for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year. You can do it for any time.
So we would like to ask you about the medium expenses of a person who lives there for 3 months for his or her electives. Like, can you give us a little bit about that expenses?
Yeah, sure. So, if you live here for 3 months, so depends on where you are living. Every location has a different rent. If you're living in a suburb community, if you're not living in the middle of the city, the rent is very low. You can share a room. You can pay $500 to $900 per month. But if you're living in a big city, if you're living in the main heart of the city or the downtown of the city, then the expenses will be a lot. Then you'll be asked to pay a lot of money for the rent, like maybe up to $1,000 to $2,000. If you live on sharing, if you're sharing the house with 3 or 4 people, and then your cost decreases. The cost of living, like the groceries and everything, these are not very costly. You can go to any convenient stores, and you can get the groceries. I think it for one person it would cost around $100 or $150 a month. So depends on where you are doing your electives. If you choose a less populated city, you can reduce your length. If you choose a more populated city, you have to pay a lot of money then.
Okay.
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 Ma'am,
Okay,
some
ma'am. And can you just tell us about how to apply to the hospital and the expenses of that registration fees for every hospital?
Yes. So every hospital, like if you're applying for every application, it's $26. So if you're applying for 100, 150 programs, so you can multiply it. It usually takes like 1,500, $2,000, depending on the programs you apply. I applied to less programs, so my cost was less, but people apply to more programs. People apply to up to 300 programs, so their cost is less. Their cost is more. So it's $26 per hospital, and then you just multiply it.
okay. Ma'am, someone told me that PLAB is more better than USMLE, like in visa policy and in many aspects.
Yeah, I haven't researched PLAB. I haven't gone through it. I don't know a lot about the exams and everything, and how much the visa approval rate is. So I cannot comment on that. But I went through this pathway, so I can tell you about this pathway.
Okay, ma'am. And ma'am, statistically speaking, like a large number of female didn't get matched into surgical specialties. So is it because that a lot of women aren't capable of it, or they didn't choose for the surgical thing, or just the system has some preferences of men or women with regard to surgery?
So surgery is not IMG friendly. IMG means international medical graduates. So not even women, even men find it hard to match in surgery if they are coming from a different country, if they have not graduated from the US. So surgery is a more competitive specialty for IMG. So it's very difficult for both males as well as females to get matched into surgery.
Ma'am,
So,
even
is it because of our grades and step two scores or these things that we will get matched into surgery? Like, what should we do to get matched into surgery?
It's just that they prefer to take their own graduates into surgery. It's just that. But they do take some people. You have to have very good scores. You have to have good amount of clinical experience, research, and everything. If you have all of these things, then you can apply for surgery. You can get matched in surgery. But
And
they usually prefer their own graduates.
can you tell us about the ratio? Like if they are taking 100 candidates from Pakistan, then how many will they take of surgery? Like one out of 100, two out of 100. Like
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, one or two out of 100, because they usually prefer, there are very less seats in surgery, and they usually prefer their own graduates.
Okay. Ma'am, we have heard that in USMLE exams, after USMLE exams, workload is more as compared to the pay in US.
Yeah,
Is it
because yeah, I have also heard this, but I have not started my residency, so I don't know how the workload is. I'll get to know this next month.
okay?
and we would like to ask you about your salary. Like they say, you shouldn't ask someone about their salary, but like if you're preparing for it, then you should know it.
Yeah, so the salary, as I told you, like the rent varies according to the area, the salary varies according to the state. Like bigger states, they offer more salary. States which are with their population is less, or like they are less populated, or what do I say? Like if the patient load is less, then the salary is less. So salaries vary by states, but anywhere it's between 50,000 to 50,000 to $75,000 per year,
Okay. And
and
we
it
have
varies
also
among
heard
states.
if you clear USMLE Part 1 and Part 2 exams, then you got high benefits or salaries in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, these countries.
Yeah, I've also heard, but I'm not sure about it, because as I told you, I've not gone through that pathway. So I don't want to tell anything which is not true. I can only tell things which I've gone through and which I know are 100% true.
Okay, ma'am. And I heard from someone that if you applied for matching and you didn't get matched for 1 year, 2 year, then like all of your effort is gone. Is there is a specific time limit for the matching program? Like in 2 years, you can apply on your previous score, or you can apply for it.
You can apply as many times as you want, but if someone is getting consecutively unmatched, then there is something wrong with their application. If they figured that out and they work on it, then they apply again, then they definitely can get matched. I have seen people getting matched after 3 or 4 cycles. In my family, I've seen someone getting matched after 5 cycles. So yes, if they are consecutively getting matched and they don't work on the thing which is wrong in their application, definitely their chances of getting matched will decrease.
Okay, ma'am, and like we would ask you one more thing, like
Sure.
if someone just if someone is not able to pay for, like there will be many students who will be able to clear it, but they're not gonna pay. So, is there any sponsors for those students? Like, are there any sponsors who sponsor student for UCMD exam and step one and step two? Like you have to pay for your own.
No, unfortunately, there are no sponsors, and you have to pay for your own. Sometimes it takes us time to, to work and then earn money and then save for it and then apply for it. So you have to be your own sponsor. Unfortunately, we don't have any sponsors for this. But just I would say, just take one thing at a time, and then you will, inshallah, be able to save for it and work for it.
Okay, ma'am. No, your residency will be for 4 years, right?
Yes.
And after that, you will try for the MD.
Yeah, this is MD. After that, I'll just I don't
uh,
plan to do any more studying. I'll just do a simple job.
in the US, right?
Yes.
So one more thing, like, what was your motivation for this thing? Like, if I'm gonna apply, I would see, Mr. that Ma'am Ujala Zubair is doing so well and in these things. Yeah, I would work here in a hospital, and I would see the pathetic conditions or everything. So then, I would say that no, I'm gonna take the UECMLE step one or step two. So, like, what was your motivation for that?
So I think my motivation was also my seniors, and I don't know. Just it was like I have to do it, and my seniors helped me a lot. There were a lot of seniors who helped me, who inspired me, and I look upon them. I used to ask them many questions, and they helped me always. So that was the motivation that helped me clear this journey.
Okay, ma'am. And yes, you guys can ask question in the comment section. We would read these. Ma'am, was it hard? How was this journey? Like, कैसी थी आपकी? मुश्किल थी? कैसे गुजरी?
मुश्किल थी, but I had many things, like I didn't stop anything in between. So there were USMLE was also going on, and then my personal things were also, like I got married, I had a baby and everything. So everything was going on, so it didn't felt a very difficult journey. I had good moments as well, good moments with my family and everything. And I didn't stop anything. Some people, if they're studying, they stop everything, then that becomes very difficult. But I didn't stop anything. So yes, my journey was, it was difficult, but it was not that difficult.
And now, like, what are your feelings? Like, after 5 to 6, after 5 to 6 days, you're like you will be in the Beaumont Hospital as the new resident.
Yeah,
So, like, what are
I
your
feel good. I feel good, but I'm also a little bit scared, because here you have to be there. If you make one mistake, it will stay in your resume. It will stay on your license forever. So I'm just scared about this as well. That you have to do everything good. You have to do proper documentation and everything. So yeah, I'm excited as well as a little bit nervous that if I'll be able to do things as they are supposed to do.
and we would also ask you about your routine. Like, what was your routine? You would study in night or in the morning, or like your complete routine?
Yeah, so I was always a morning person. So I always wake up early. Even if it's a holiday, I always wake up early, and I think that's the biggest thing which has contributed to my journey. Because when you wake up early, then you get done with things early. So I used to wake up at 7 a.m. or sometimes 8, and then I used to have breakfast, and then I started studying. And I used to study. Sometimes I had a nap in between in the afternoon, and then I would study until 6 or 7, either at home or either at the library. And then after 6 or 7, I just wrap up my studies, and then I, you know, um, spend time with family. I used to sleep early, 10 p.m., 9:30, 10 p.m. I used to sleep, or I just go to bed, and then again. So and I used to take one day off every week, no matter what, either Saturday or Sunday or sometimes Friday. That day I do not study, and one day I would do any extracurricular things, like work on my research, or at least half a day I would write any research article or write down anything. So in this way I used to divide my timings. And also during step 2, I was working for 2 to 3 days. I used to work, and then rest of the days I was studying. So this way I divided my schedule. I worked on my schedule.
Okay, ma'am. And one more thing, ma'am. They told us like there are certain programs and medical colleges like the blood camps and all these things. They say that if you participated in these things, then these things are gonna add some value in your resume over there, like in your matching programs and these things. Is it right?
Yeah, that's true. So if you participate in volunteer activities, it is going to help you a lot. Any kind of volunteer activities, I really like it. So yeah, that's a plus point for your application.
Okay, ma'am. And someone said that how to clear USMLE from short books. Is there any short book available? Like
No.
we heard about that uh, first aid for step one.
Yeah, there's a first aid for step 1, but there are no short books available. So first aid is the only book you have to refer to.
Okay, and can we do like the research things or these things in first year and from second year, first year, like the basic things that can get us to these things?
Yeah, you can start working on your researches from second year or third year. You can start
And one more
working on
thing,
research.
like you were a married woman and you started for this thing. like someone would say that if I've gone through my final year and I'm a house officer, so like it's late for me to start for the USMLE step 1 or step 2. So how did you cope with
No,
that
it's
thing?
it's it's never late for you to start anything. I have seen people starting like after 5-10 years. Recently, I have a friend. She worked for 20 years as a OBGYN, and now she's moving towards USMLE. So it's never too late to start your journey. You can always do it. Just believe in yourself, and nothing is impossible.
Ma'am,
And
can
the
we
most
quote?
important thing that how much does our previous marks, like our grades in the medical college, matter in these things, in the our
Nothing.
matching?
Yeah, your grades in medical school doesn't matter with your USMLE. It has nothing to do with your USMLE. Only your USMLE scores matter.
Ma'am, can we
Mm-hmm.
give both
So like
FCPS
हमें
or
टेंशन
PLAB?
लेने की जरूरत नहीं है यहाँ पे.
Nine, nine. Chill.
Ma'am, can we give both PLAB and FCPS? Like
Can we give what? Plab and?
FCPS, मतलब
Yeah, you
अगर हम
can give
पहले
both.
PLAB दे.
Yeah, yeah,
हाँ
yeah,
दोनों.
yeah. I've seen people, they give both, yes.
अच्छा.
Okay, ma'am. So like these were the things बस इतना था. And thank you so much. Like हमारे जहन में बहुत सारी चीजें थी. हमें बताया जाता था कि like यहाँ पे मार्क्स मैटर करते हैं, वो करते हैं. So like thank you so much for this. और I hope आपने बहुत सारे लोगों के बहुत सारे जो उनके जहन में
मैम,
चल रहे थे आपने क्लियर किया.
आपने फर्स्ट ईयर से ही मतलब तैयारी करना स्टार्ट कर दी थी, आपके माइंड में था कि यूएसएमएल देना है या इस तरह
No,
कुछ?
no, I started it after my house job. And yeah, after my house job. In first year, nothing, because the exams in the medical school, they're already so tough. So to prepare anything along with those exams is very difficult. And thank you guys for calling me. Thank you guys for having me. I had such a great time talking to you guys. If you guys plan to do any other session, let me know if I'm available. If I don't have anything coming, so I'll definitely join you guys for sure.
मैम थैंक यू सो मच कि
Okay,
आपने.
ma'am.
No,
Thank you
thank
so
you
much.
guys. I wish you all the best. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me. Any questions related to anything, I'll be so happy to help you guys. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.